white, middle-class, suburban, evangelical Christianity. What's wrong with white, middle-class, suburban, evangelical Christianity? It only works if you're white, middle-class, suburban, and evangelical. Take away any one of those four categories: white, middle-class, suburban, evangelical Christian. What if you're not one or many of those things? Then that Christianity isn't working for you, and then in that mindset, God must not like you, God must not favor you, God must not be for you, and Christ must not want to have anything to do with you, and Christ must not be loving you very well because you're doing something wrong. My point, and trust me on this, Jesus was not white, middle class, suburban, evangelical Christian. He didn't fit any of those categories, guys. He did not live anything like a white, middle class, suburban, evangelical Christian. Guys, the truth is, the gospel gets perverted when you add those labels to it. When you say, this is what it looks like to be a true Christian. This is what it looks like when you are really following Christ. You'll be the majority culture, because of course God favors you and your culture, and that's how it works, right? So if you're really following God, then you will have the preeminent culture, or the preeminent ethnicity in your culture, the powerful ethnicity, right? And then of course, you will be financially well off. You will be financially comfortable, right? Because that's also what Jesus said. Right? He didn't say you would sacrifice and you had to give up everything to follow him, and you had to lose yourself to find yourself. And he didn't say money was the root of all kinds of evil, and he didn't say that you can't serve money and God. Of course he didn't say that. He said, yeah, if you follow me and you are my disciple, then you will live comfortably and you'll have the nice house and the nice car and the nice job, right? Of course he said that. Middle class, suburban. You will live in the better places. You won't have to live in the inner city where it's crappy. Like, if you live in the inner city and you're a minority and you're not wealthy, then Jesus really is not your Jesus, right? He's not really about you. Like, you're really kind of like below Jesus, right? Evangelical. You know, he probably likes Catholics a little bit and Orthodox a little bit, but yeah, he really, really likes those Protestant evangelicals. Yeah, that's it. That's messed up, guys. What you do when you frame Christianity so tightly within a cultural context like that is you leave people thinking, well, gosh, I must not really be seeking Jesus properly. And gee, God must really be about blessing people with the right ethnicity and the right income and the right demographic and the right affluence, right? That's the thing, guys. When pastors preach white, middle-class, suburban, evangelical Christianity in their churches, it only works if you fit those categories. You can only believe that you're doing what's right before God if you fit those categories. The poor, the lowly, the struggling, the down and out, the outcast, the minority. These are the people that actually get the gospel the most. Not because they're better, but because they understand. It's not about the external, it's about the internal. They understand that God can bless them with the greatest things, despite their economic status, their ethnic status, their situation, their neighborhood. They understand that they really don't have much, if anything, to bring to God, and they understand that God doesn't really care about those things. And so if you are lowly, low income, if you are poor, if you are not the majority, and you find that God really loves you and really comes and dwells with you, then you will really understand that that is the blessing of God, when God's presence comes in you more fully, and that these external things are actually very arbitrary. You know, you can have a white, middle-class, suburban, evangelical Christian who actually does understand the depth of God, because and understands that those superficial things aren't really the things. You can have a poor person, a rich person, a black person, a white person, a Republican, a Democrat that really understands the true essence of the gospel. But I don't think the white middle-class, suburban, evangelical church understands that. They've conflated things as being Christian that aren't. They've conflated God's blessings for surface, superficial things that aren't really the truest blessing and aren't really necessary or integral to the gospel. And that's very dangerous.